So let's start off with um, a human body, okay? Because one thing that happens sometimes, no, is that when the proportion and size goes a little off with a human body, everything starts looking kind of wrong, kind of weird or odd, right? Like when we draw a human body, right? Let me just give you a random example. Sometimes we, can draw a human body. The head will be this size, like this, and then after that, the body becomes either too too small for the head, like that, and then after the legs become way too short. Of course, I'm drawing purposefully badly over here. Okay, or what can happen is that you can draw a head that's maybe a little too small, and then this kind of thing happens where the body becomes like way too broad, right? That's also wrong. So how do we get these proportions absolutely 100% right? There is a simple method, okay, called the comparative method, where you're just comparing one thing to another. Okay, you're just comparing one thing to another. So let's start off here by drawing a head. Now remember, So this is my page, right? I'm going to make sure that the head is right at the top, and I have enough space to go to the toes, okay, to the absolute feet. So let's start off with the head here. Just make it an oval. Thus, just an oval. Okay. Now we'll draw this first in a stick figure form. Total stick figure form. Alright. Then we'll fill it up. So zooming in over here. Now the next question to ask is, how long is the neck? Right? That will be the next logical question. How long is the neck? The neck should be half the length of the head. So this is the head. Half the length of the head should be the neck. Okay. All right. Now the next question should be what? Can somebody tell me what is the next thing that we have to make? Quickly, guys. I want some interaction today. What is the next thing that we need to draw? Shoulders. Thank you, Nandini. Yes, absolutely. Shoulders. So the next question to ask is, how broad should the shoulders be? Should it be this much? Should it be that much? No. Basically, let's just imagine there are three heads next to each other, right? The shoulder should be exactly the width of three heads. Okay. Just remember this length, because this length is now very important to us. Okay. This is exactly right. It's exactly the width of three heads. Okay. Next question is, how long should the arms be? And this is important because sometimes the arms can go very wrong. Either we draw it too long or we draw it too short. So let's first break it down into two parts: upper arms and forearms, right? So upper arms will be basically the same length as shoulder to shoulder, same exact length. Okay, so you see this length that I'm drawing here, that same length I'm drawing over here. Okay, so you guys got that, right? The the shoulder width is the same length as the upper arm. So this is shoulder till elbow, and always make sure you're putting these circles here on the joints. Okay. Now forearms. How long should the forearms be? The forearms are again the same exact length. Same exact length again. Convenient, right? It's all the same. length. Every time, same exact length. Okay. Now, hands we'll do later, not immediately. Let's do it a little bit later. Right now, I want to know how long will the back be? The back, right? So the back from the neck till the waistline, neck till waistline, okay, is, can anybody guess till where it will be? Will it be till here, till the wrist? Or will it be till here? Where will it be? Any idea? Nandini says till the elbows. Absolutely right, Nandini. That's absolutely right. Everybody who said that, yes. The waistline is the same level as the elbow, and you can actually test that out. Those of you who are sitting on a chair, if you're sitting on a chair, right, drop your arm to the side. Just drop your arm, put it down, and you'll see that your elbow and your waistline is at the same exact point. Okay. Now, and also that means that the base of the neck till the waistline is again this same exact length. Same exact length. Now, from the waistline till the end of the back is half of this length. Half of this length. Okay. So, till here. Half of the forearm length, basically. Okay. Now, the hip, I'll draw kind of like a stapler pin, right? Kind of like a stapler pin, like this. And then now, just remember one thing. The hip should never be as broad as the shoulder, okay? It should be narrower, slightly narrower than the shoulder. See? Okay. Now, okay, now we're at the legs. We're already at the legs, okay? How long should the legs be? Okay, let's forget about the legs. Let's only talk about the thigh. What is that one piece of information all of us know about the thigh bone? Can anybody tell me what's that one thing we all know? We hear this in school also. What's that one thing about the thigh bone that we all know? Longest bone. Thank you, Krishi. Absolutely right. 100 points, Krishi. It's the longest bone in the body, right? So now the question is how long? So I'll do the thigh bone over here on the side, okay, so that we can compare. So here, if I start the thigh bone here at the shoulder level, right, it is equal to one full upper arm, okay, one full upper arm plus half of the forearm, okay, so it's like 1.5. That's the length. So I'll do the same thing here. 1.5. Same thing here on the other side. 1.5. Like that. And then you draw your kneecaps. Don't forget that. Okay. Now that we finished the thighs, we can now finish up the hands. Okay. And the reason why you should only do the hands after you do the thighs, right, is because you can actually mark exactly where the hand ends on the thigh. It needs to end at the halfway point of the thigh. So you can just make a marking there and a marking there. Okay. Okay. Now we just have only the calf left. Okay. So now the calf bone, right, the shin bone basically, is not as long as the thigh. Definitely not. It's not that long, but it's not as short as the forearm either, right? So it's something in between, somewhere in between. So how do we do that somewhere in between length? Basically, just draw the forearm length. We know the forearm length, right? We've been drawing it so many times already. So do the forearm length like that, and then just put little more on both sides. Just little more. That's all. That's it. And now you have your ankles. Okay, so ankles there. And the feet can be drawn basically in this format, right? In the stick figure format. The best way to draw feet is, there are two ways. One is if the feet are pointing straight forward at us, then it will be like a equilateral triangle like this. And if it's pointing sideways, like away from us, then it will be a right angle triangle like this. Okay. And here we have a full human figure. This is, by the way, the easiest way to draw a perfectly proportionate human figure, as well as being very quick about it. Okay. But now, what about muscles? What about all of that stuff? There are so many muscles in the body, right? So many different types of muscles and joints and attachments and all that. Then how do we just quickly learn that up? So there's a very nice, quick little hack even for that. Okay. And Navdeep, I'm looking at yours. Really good. Good job. It looks very proportionate. Nice. So for muscle structures, there is a very easy hack for that. Instead of learning the full anatomy and all the muscles and all the muscle structures, how about we just group it all? Group them into separate sections. Group it into what I like to call mass points. Basically, it's just places where there is mass, right? So let's now draw the mass points. All right. So how do we do the mass points? What is the biggest mass point in our body? Can anyone tell me that? What is the biggest mass point? Which area do we have like the most amount of mass? Anyone have any guesses? Any suggestions? Stomach, legs, Pushi. Sometimes not legs, but stomach. Sometimes, yeah, surely that can happen. But generally speaking, the place that has the most amount of organs, the most amount of bones, the most amount of muscles is the chest plate. The chest plate, right? That has the most amount of mass right here. So what I'll do is very simply just make a chest plate, kind of like a armor type chest plate, just like that. In fact, I'll just put a little U-shaped like thing over here, just to kind of make it look a little more like a rib cage, So that's one big mass point. The other one, this may not be so obvious, but the other one is actually the hip region, because this also has a lot of organs, a lot of fat, a lot of muscle, a lot of, not a lot of bones, but one big bone, which is the hip bone, right? So I'll just make like a kind of like a nappy. It kind of looks like a diaper, right? So just make a little sort of big diaper for this guy. Okay. Now we come towards those other muscles, like the shoulder muscles, the deltoids, front deltoids, side deltoids, back, the trapezius, triceps, biceps. But we don't want to get so complicated. Again, today's class is not about overcomplication; it's about simplification. So instead of doing all of that, biology, let's instead just make a disc over here. That's the shoulder disc, okay? And just have it resting. Resting. We don't want it to be popping out. Just rest it first. Okay? Then the back of the arm, a muscle starts off. This is called the tricep muscle, is at the top of the back of the arm, okay? That. And the front one, of course, everybody knows biceps, right? Biceps are right here. Like that. So this is the back of the arm muscle. This is the front of the arm muscle. And then we have the forearm muscles, which are part of the radius and ulnar system and all of that. But we'll just make it into one long oval. Right? And on this side, we do the same thing, okay? Watch the placement. That's the only thing I want you to watch out for. Watch the placement. So we have the tricep muscle, that's at the back over here. That's the back of the arm muscle at the back and kind of at the top. The front one, which is the bicep, is lower. It's lower down like this. They're in alternate places, right? And the forearm is just one long kind of, long oval. That's all. Okay. Now for the thigh, one long oval, which is broad on one side and pointy on one side. Okay. Broad on one side, pointy on the other side. Same here. Broad on one side, pointy on the other side. That's the thighs. And the calf, here's one interesting thing about the calf, okay? When your toes are pointed forward, your calf muscle is hidden right in the middle, like this. When your toes are pointed sideways, right? When your toes are pointed sideways, your calf is on the opposite side at the side. Okay? Like that. All right. Now, here comes the moment of truth. Does this actually hold up? Does this actually work in making a successful human figure? Okay. So, guys, this is where I prove it to you because there's no point in just telling you all things. I have to prove it to you. So here, now I want you all to sit back, chill, relax, okay? Just watch. This is how simple it is. I don't want you to draw with me, okay? Don't draw with me here. I just want you to watch. Watch and observe. So all I'm going to do is follow this exact formula of the muscle points, and you'll see that it absolutely and exactly creates perfectly proportionate human figures. See? I'm just following the places where there are lumps, the places where there are masses, and that's it. At the joints, I draw the elbow joints, and at the mass points, I draw the muscles. That's all. No more staring at anatomy figures, wondering where is what, how is who, and any of that. Just draw based on what things actually look like. That's it. I make one little shape like this on these two sides. This is one bone which we didn't draw because it's right in the middle, the front. That's the collarbone, right? Our collarbone just comes here, this way and this way, joins in the center. Waist, we don't need to draw it too narrow, just sort of very normal. I'm trying to do, it very sort of average and realistic. We're not trying to particularly draw a hyper athlete or anything like that. And you know what? Either we have to give this guy a diaper or we have to give him pants. I choose pants. So I'm just going to draw some pants here. Okay, and the rest is me not changing a single thing. It's all completely intuitive. You see? No, we don't draw any of the thigh over here because the arm is kind of overlapping, right? So I'll just start from here, from past the hand. Now you see this formula, right? It works even when the body is changing in its positioning also. See, like the joint is here, right? So I make a slight bump here.
So your voice is lagging between.
Or is it? It's lagging.
Now it's proper, sir. Now it's proper.
Well, I need to check my. It's fine. Okay. And then I bring this calf back this way. And like this. You can just draw a belt or whatever it is over here. Zip. Pockets. And you can clearly see how a human figure can be very easily achieved, very, very simply and easily achieved with by just understanding mass points and not overcomplicating things. You know, anybody can do this. You know, the problem is over time things have become so overcomplicated by the number of rules and the number of systems you need to follow and all of that, that it's become unnecessarily tricky. It's not. It's much easier than you think. Okay. Now, this is a very simple system. Okay, very, very simple system to be able to. So my goal, right, is to basically find people who require this sort of clearance here and there, just to kind of clear their head on how to create things, so they can start off on their creative journey and use this exact method to make artwork that looks like this. Okay, to be able to make artwork that looks like this using the exact same method, the exact same system, the exact same method. Okay, and if you guys liked this, please let me know in the chat. Okay, so when I was making this, first of all, it barely took me any time. I was able to concentrate on the look and the feel and the aesthetic of the whole thing, because I did not need to worry about proportion, size, or any of that, because I was freed up because I used this very, very simple system of making a human body using this method. Half the time we don't create amazing artworks because it takes too long to learn certain things. Anyway, now let's move ahead. To our next topic, which is, and I saw this in the chat. That's why I'm bringing it up right now. A lot of you like drawing faces and portraits and realistic, basically realistic human faces, right? So let's get into that. Let's work on that for a bit and see how best we can, make a really, really good looking face with hardly any mistakes or no mistakes at all in a very simplified way. By the way, at this point, if anyone would like to show their artwork, please do show me. I'd love to see it. Okay, if nobody is showing me the artwork right now, then I can move ahead. Alicia, are you showing your artwork? Or Navdeep?
Sir, Drishta is showing her artwork. Can you please look at that?
Oh, is she? Okay, 1 second. Oh, yes, yes, I can see it. Very nice, very nice. All right, okay. The only thing that I would say has happened over here is that the right leg, right? The right leg here is looking a little broad, and that's because you can add just a slight bit of a high line, just between the arm, right? Between the wrist and all. Otherwise, really nice job. Good stuff. Come out nicely. Good, good. Okay, let's start off with the face. Now, here's one funny thing I'm going to do, okay? I'm not going to draw with my normal pencil here. I'm going to draw with a color pencil, red color pencil, actually, because we have to actually start this off with a construction, a small, simple construction. It's not very tricky or anything like that, but it requires some amount of line work, okay? So, what I want you to do is, if you have a color pencil with you, then use a red color pencil because it will really help you out. If you don't, then that's fine. Just use your pencil lightly. Okay. So here's my red color pencil. Now this is just for clarity's sake, so that you can see it clearly, so that you can understand what I'm doing clearly. So if you have a red color pencil, bring it out and use that. Now, the first thing I want you to try to draw, right, is a circle. Okay. Now, have any of you tried to draw a circle, just a circle, before? Anyone? Quick responses, guys. Let me know. Have any of you just drawn a circle? So, a circle is something that you don't draw with your, you should never draw a circle with your fingers. Okay. So, never like this. Okay. This doesn't really work all the time. It works sometimes, but not all the time. Using your wrist also doesn't always work too well. It becomes a little funny. Okay. Actually, you should be drawing a circle from your elbow. Not joking. Actually, from your elbow. So what you need to do is keep your hand above the paper. Don't let it sit on the paper. Okay. Little above the paper, and just go round like this. And eventually, after maybe 2, 3, or 17 bad circles, one nice good circle will show up. And that's when you need to kind of start locking that in. Okay? Just try it out. Try it out. If you guys haven't tried it before, try it out. From your elbow, okay? Move your pencil from your elbow. Yeah? Anyone made a successful circle? Please show me. You guys, showing off a circle is a big deal, okay? So if you've made a pretty circle, show me your circle. Okay. Now the next step, right after this, is to basically, so a head, right? A human head, is a round object. It's a round object with some things attached to it, like a jaw. A jaw is attached to it. A nose is attached to it, right? So what we'll do is, this is the main part of the head. But the sides of the head are actually kind of flat, like where your ears are, right? That area is kind of flat, like this. This side and this side. right? Just to be thorough, by the way, just to be thorough, I'm going to actually point it to my head. Then only you'll understand exactly what I mean. Okay. So, to speak very practically, this is a head, right? This is my big head. Now, this part, all of this is all the round ball section, right? All of this. These are the attachments. This is the jaw, the nose, of course, right? These are all the attachments. So I want you to think of all of this as a sphere. But this part, do you see this part? This is flat. This is quite flat. So what we're going to do is that circle that you drew, right? I want you to chop it on the two sides. Just chop it like a tomato, no? You chop on one side and then chop on the other side. Just chop it so that we get that flatness on the two sides, okay? Try that out. Okay, so here I did that over here. I drew the circle and then I chopped it on the two sides. Okay. Now let's just divide it. Okay. Let's divide it up. First, now I'm going to divide it with sort of like a shape like this that goes around from the top, from the top of this side to the top of this side, like this. Okay, in a curved line, because it's a round object, right? And round objects, you'll only have curved lines on a round object. Then straight through the middle, I'll do another curved line. And then one from the bottom, right? One thing I want you all to be very, very particular about is to keep this gap and this gap same, okay? This gap should be same to this one, same gap. And then we'll make one more line, same gap, but here, same amount of gap. Just a small line like this much is it. Okay. Now, there is different parts of your face, right? There is the front of your face, there is the side of your the two sides of your face, right? So we need to find out what those sides are. So one side will be from here, like this. So I'll make one line from here. Now this is one side of your face, right? The other side is over here. Right? So now we have the two sides of your face. This is one side, this is the other side, right? And then we can start making the jaw, which just goes up and joins at the side here. Goes up and joins at the side. And then just divide the face right in the middle, top to bottom. Like that, so that we know what the center of the face is, right? Okay, and this method, right? This method is called the Lumis method. Okay, and that's because some guy named Lumis invented this method. That's why it's named after him. But the reason why it has so many lines, right? So many different parts of the face and all that, is because this method you really can't make mistakes. It's really easy to draw a face, and you really won't make any proportional mistakes. Now, this line here, okay, is this line here is the hairline. Okay. This line in the center, this is the eyeline. This third line that we did over here, that one is the nose line. Yes, Prajakta, exactly, the nose line. And finally, here we have the chin line or jaw line. Okay, all right. One last thing we're going to do is right here, no, just here. I'm just going to make a little division here and here, just so that the eyes don't touch, so they don't become too close and start touching. Now, by the way, this is this is the best way if you want to ever draw Iron Man's head, right? This is the absolute best way to do that. One super easy way to draw the eyes is to draw it in a shape that looks like this. I know it looks a little bit like a robot, like as if we're drawing a robot now, or like as if we're drawing Iron Man now. We're not drawing Iron Man, we're drawing a normal face. But this is how I would go about drawing eyes, okay? And I'll show you exactly why this way works best. Okay, just remember, okay, this side should face this way, this line here should face this way, and this line should face that way. Okay, now I'll do one thing kind of weird, a little bit funny. I'll draw a clown nose at the base of the nose area, right? I'll draw a clown nose with two small circles next to it, like that. Cool. Now let's just start off drawing the face. Okay, so I'll just keep this here for a few seconds so that you can observe, take a look at what we've done here. Navdeep, that's a fantastic job, really good. Just make the nose a little broader, okay? This part and this part, just make it a little bit broader. Nirma, great, really good. That's exactly right. Fantastic. Now, guys, most importantly, this is a guideline. Okay, we do not have a face ready yet. Okay, this is just a guidance line. So now let's start off with the actual head. Okay, I've moved to normal pencil. Let's draw this face now. Take your pencil now, and first of all, remember, this is the eye line. So the eyebrows have to be above it. And for the eyebrows, I will just for now make a light shape like this. And here, like that. Now, why have I drawn eyes that look like a robot's eyes? It's because this shape really helps in making the exact eye shape. If you just draw a curved line inside it, okay, a curved line inside it, and just forget about those harsh corners, right, those sharp corners, you get a really correctly shaped eye. See? It's not just about the eye shape, right? It's about the angle that it's in. It's about the way it's angled. And this parallelogram, that's what the shape is. The parallelogram really helps in getting that shape perfectly. Okay. Now the nose is really simple. Between the circle and the small circle, just make a little nostril here, nostril hole over there, and one on the other side. Between, okay, always between one and the other. This and like this, right? And you can already see the nose taking place, right? It's already almost done, in fact. And I make a slight nose bridge over there, and thus nose is ready, done. The mouth, we don't have a mouth line, but I'll use this curvature of the circle, right? The curvature of the circle, I'll use that for my mouth line. So What I'll do is I'll just make a V shape over here, just a V shape, and then just kind of drag it out on the two sides. Don't make it too broad, okay? Don't make it too broad. Like that. One thin V shape next to that. I mean, just under that, right? And just a curved line under that. Now, notice one thing. None of these lines are touching each other. The upper lip line is not touching the center of the mouth line, right? And the center of the mouth line is not touching the lower lip line. None of the lines should touch. That's an important thing to remember. Okay. Now let's do something else. Let's do the ears. So the ears should always be at the same line as the eyes. So here I'll do one here, just very simple. Okay, just like this. There's no need to make it poke out of the side of the face. That's not necessary. Just this much enough. Okay. Same thing on the other side. Okay. Now I'll just fill out the eyebrows. Remember one thing, okay? Right side eyebrows, hair should be pointing towards the right. Left side eyebrows, hair should be pointing towards the left. Easy to remember that. Okay. Then of course let's draw the iris. You know what? When you're drawing the eyes, right, it's always good to make it look somewhere. It looks nicer, you know, when a character looks at something. So I'll just have the eye kind of turning a little bit to one direction like this. See, that looks better. That gives a sign that he's alive, you know, gives him some character at least. Then you draw some eyelids, just slightly. Okay, now it's all about small lines, small little markings, nothing too large. Yeah, and then the jaw. I'll leave enough space underneath the chin and go like this. And always finish the jaw in front of the ear, okay? Never behind the ear. Always in front of the ear. In front of the ear. There. Okay. Now, small little things like cheek lines, that's important. Cheekbone lines, just a slight shade there. And slight one on the other side. Okay. And then we just make a small little marking here, okay? A V shape over here. Then above the eyebrow, side of the eyebrow, over here, one more V shape like that. And the above this eyebrow, one V shape like that. And that will be the hairline. Okay. So, how's it going so far? Do you guys are you guys you know, liking the workshop so far? Yeah, got a thumbs up from Krishi. That's nice. Okay, Prajakta is asking eyeline should touch the face line. Which face line, Krishi? Navdeep, fantastic. It's looking really good. I really like it. Coming out well. Anybody else would like to show this? So, guys, in a workshop like this, right, I can at the most go ahead and show you a hairstyle, which I will. We will be finishing this off with fine details and a really cool looking hairstyle also. But uh, but there is so much more left in terms of understanding how to draw a face when it comes to contours and shading and all of that. And in a masterclass, I can teach you far more than that. I can teach you